How you doing? I'm Tyson Franklin, and the topic of this video is: are bosses greedy or are they just dumb? Or we could just call it greedy or dumb bosses. Now, first I'll just explain that I'm not in my usual office setting where I shoot my videos, which is why the video is a little bit grainy. And I'm down south at the moment for a couple of days at a conference, which is why I'm wearing a hoodie. Because it's cold down here, and I'm shooting it from a motel room. The reason I wanted to shoot this video was someone sent me a message recently, a couple of days ago, and I'm going to read the message that they sent to me, and I'm going to explain some of my thoughts on this. So here is the message, and it said, "I've been listening to your podcast on why podiatrists are leaving. Really interesting hearing everyone's perspective on this field. I started listening as I have a few friends who have gone back to uni and are wanting to leave podiatry. Some already have. I also contemplated leaving podiatry myself. My first day as a podiatrist, I did a 12-hour shift in a private clinic. I was doing 12 to 13 hours days, pretty much running the clinic by myself, and was paid the least in commission." Now, this is quite interesting, and I've heard this before, where people are employed by somebody and then they are just dumped in the clinic and the owner leaves the clinic. And they are pretty much doing everything themselves, yet they're on pretty ordinary pay. She went on to say, "I then went to apply for another job. They wanted me to mentor new graduates and I would earn a base wage and then bonuses based on the amount of orthotics I sold." Once again, I've heard this numerous times where someone who's been out for 2 years gets a job somewhere else, but the owner of the business just expects them to mentor the new graduates coming through, not do it themselves, and aren't really paying them that much more for actually doing it. Now, the base wage was less than what she was earning when she was working at Australia Post, which is a job she did when she was going through uni, which also is not good. She said, "I think a lot of employers have started to become greedy and people have had enough." In saying that, there are some wonderful employers, which there are. I know for myself, she's now set up her own clinic from her house and she's doing home visits. She sees less people per day and she's making more money. She's gone back to uni and she wants to keep the doors open for other work down the track, which means if something better comes up, she may actually leave podiatry. She says podiatry is rewarding, but can be emotionally draining and doesn't have much career progression unless you work for yourself. Personally, I wouldn't go back to working in the clinic again. If this didn't work out, she would actually leave podiatry, which is sad because she says there's a lot of positives from it. So there's a few things in those comments that I think are really, really important. Firstly, as a new graduate, just getting dumped into a clinic and having to do everything yourself and working extremely long days is not going to be overly motivating for them. The other part is working in a clinic where your only incentive is if you the more orthotics you sell, that's how you get your bonuses. Now, she was saying that she thinks bosses are greedy. I don't think bosses are overly greedy. I just think there's a lot of employers who are pretty dumb. I just don't think they're good employers. They're just not smart employers. And this may be a cycle that has gone back to, and I've heard people say, well, when I went through podiatry, this is how I was treated. So they think this is how you must treat the next person. And I think as a profession, we have got to stop this cycle. We have got to make the job for new employees extremely attractive. And it's not just money, as you would have heard on the 2 episodes why I left podiatry. Not one of them said money was the reason they left. They left because they weren't enjoying the job. They were overworked, and they did feel that they were underpaid once they actually left the profession and got a job somewhere else. So I don't think bosses are overly greedy. I just think they're not very smart. But there are a lot of very, very smart employers out there. You've just got to go through these bad ones to find the good ones. So the point I really want to make with this, as an employer, if you've had a bad experience yourself, if you had a terrible employer when you first started, don't think that this is a rite of passage. This is what you've got to go through to learn podiatry, become a good podiatrist, because all you're doing is hurting the profession. You're burning graduates out, and they're disheartened with the whole profession, and they're actually leaving. So think about it. Look at the people that are working for you at the moment, and how are you looking after them? Are you doing the mentoring? If you're the owner of the business, you're the person that should be doing the mentoring, not someone who's been with you 1 or 2 years just because they've got a little bit more experience than the new person that's actually starting. You're the owner of the business. You do the mentoring. You make sure you do the training, and you make sure they're very happy with what they're doing. Now, going back to what you're saying, working 12-hour days, I haven't heard too many people happy to do that, but it doesn't surprise me if someone is having to drive somewhere, not getting paid for the travel time, having to work, then getting back to the clinic, having to finish everything off, then finish their note. You can see how they can add up to a 12-hour day. So take that on board. Look at the people that are working with you now. If you want to keep them, start making the job more attractive, make it more appealing, make it more enjoyable, give them some variety, and don't give them the work that you don't want to do. And that's another big thing that I've seen is people will build their clinic up to a certain point, and then they start employing people, and they get the employees doing all the work they hate doing themselves. They don't want to do home visits. They don't want to do nursing homes. They don't want to go to hostels, old people's homes. So they employ somebody else to do that. Now, if you don't like doing it yourself, what makes you think your employees like doing it? And yes, you may have had to do that yourself, but just think about it. Maybe it's time to change. I personally believe when you're setting up your business, yes, some business, you will see everybody. You'll do home visits. You will do nursing homes because you've got to bring money in. You've got bills to pay. But once you get to a certain point, I think over time, you should be letting that work go to the next group of people that are coming through and maybe setting up their own business. Forget about, I think the problem is some employers think like scarcity instead of abundance. There is plenty of work out there, and there's plenty of good work out there. If you keep building your clinic up the way that you want it, you're going to have a fantastic clinic. But if you keep hanging on to everything and not letting anything go, nursing homes, hostels, let it go. That time that you free up, you can then allow time to see more patients, the type of patients you want to see, and you can build the clinic up the way that you want to actually build it. So I want to thank the person who sent me this message, because I think this is going to be a common thing we're going to talk about over the next couple of months. It's a really, really important subject. And I've got an online workshop that's going to get run for 4 weeks coming up soon. I will put more details in the Podiatry Business Owners Club soon. So if you're not a member of the Podiatry Business Owners Club, come over there. If you're watching this in the Podiatry Business Owners Club, well, you're already there. You don't need to worry about it. But it's going to be on how to attract and retain great podiatrists and how to become an employer of choice. So it's going to run for 4 weeks. Details will be coming shortly. And like I said, I know this topic is hot because I've seen a lot of other coaching organizations now, just after my episodes came out, that are all sort of jumping on the bandwagon and say, no, this is an important subject. So I hope you got something from this. If you're an employee, you're not happy where you are, first talk to your employer. And if you can't get the changes that you want, yes, start looking around. If you don't know where to go, contact me, tf@tysonfranklin.com. And I'll tell you right now, I know a lot of good employers who are looking for staff all the time. So contact me. I will point you in the right direction. You're a new graduate watching this. You're not sure where to go. Contact me and I'll give you some directions. So I hope you don't mind this video. Like I said, the quality isn't the best. Got the sun shining in the background as the sun comes up because it's early in the morning. Hope you get something from that. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. Okay, bye.